front handspring, to an aerial cartwheel. Ooh, she's off. That's unfortunate.
How much does that count?
Well, that mistake will cost her up to 5/10. In fact, it's a fall, so she will have 5/10 taken off her score. There's her full turn, a requirement for women's gymnastics. Coming up for this dismount, she has a very difficult back handspring, to a 2-foot back handspring, right to a double twist.
Well, fine mount, fine dismount, and with the exception of one slip, a great routine, but that one slip could cost her a medal.
These are Monica's required split leaps. They must show great amplitude. And she moves right into a gainer layout walkout. That was a nice aerial move. And for a dismount, she has a very tough dismount. 2 back handsprings and a walkout. And then the third one, you see she takes off with 2 feet into a nice clean high double twist. Good dismount, but unfortunately for the fall, it's going to cost her 5/10.
And the 9-8 routine goes down to a 9-3 very quickly because of that 0.5 error. And probably a medal. Lori Strong will be up next in the beam. She had the misfortune of falling off the other night in a real emotional setting just after it was announced that she scored a perfect 10 in another apparatus, and it seemed to break her concentration.
I think it did break her concentration a little bit. She was the first one in Canada to score a 10 in national championship, and unfortunately they announced that right before going up on the balance beam. You could see her face kind of drop with disbelief, like, wow, I am the first woman to do that, and in fact she had to go up in 10 seconds to do her beam routine. Let's see what Lori can do today. Hopefully she can come in with a good performance. A back handspring to a layout, to a back fist flop. No, she's having a little trouble and she's fighting to get on the beam. But a fall like that is a 5/10 reduction.
So our 2 top gymnasts in the country both have problems on the beam.
Well, it's difficult to start off first and second on the beam, especially when you're known to be the 2 top in the Canadian program. Lori's quite serious up on the bouncing. You can see the concentration in her face. There's her front handspring to another front handspring. She's just a little off today. I'm sure most of them are pretty tired after a long weekend here at the National Championship. The switch leg split leap, the switch leg split leap, that is the requirement on the bounce beam, and it's her gymnastic series. Coming up on her dismount, she does have a difficult dismount. It's a double tuck. Nice height, beautiful descent. That was pretty easy for Lori.
See if you can pick up the error.
Well, she started off with a back handspring to a back leg layout. That looks pretty nice. Just looked like she reached a little too far over on her left shoulder and caused her fall on the beam. She's really fighting to stay on now.
She's really laughing with her fellow competitors right now, too, over that routine.
And here you can see the beautiful height Lori gets off the bounce beam. Look at that double tuck. Super height and a good dismount.
And a 9.35, so once again, would have been a 9.85 score because of the slip. Falls all the way down to a 9.35. But you can see some smiling on the faces of some of these girls. Watch this mount here.
This is pretty spectacular.
Unbelievable.
She has been practicing this for years. Look at that. One handstand right from the board. And of course, you have to hold that for about 3 seconds in order to get credit for it. Well, this leaves the doors wide open. If Janine comes in with a fine performance here, she could be up there in the medal contention. This is one of her more difficult passes, her acrobatic series, which is 2 back handsprings to a layout. No. Another fall. Our top 3 have fallen from the bouncing. This is interesting. I think maybe just a little bit. The concentration isn't quite there. Front handspring, another slight bobble. Again, she has another one hand to a handstand crossover. That's unusual. It's quite original. Working low on the bounce beam. Side roll. She's got some interesting moves. Janine had a little bit of trouble in yesterday's competition as well, and I'm sure she really wanted to stay on the bounce beam today. Her full turn. to the side. And I'm sure she's side split leap, the required amplitude jump. And she's getting set for a dismount. Janine also does a round-up double tuck. Good height, one step back. Not a bad routine. Again, it's unfortunate with the falls.
Well, with the fall, we can expect scores around the 9-3 level, but watch this mount again. As Alfie said, one of the most unique in the world.
In fact, she's probably one of the few performing that mount in the world. She does it very well.
Now to part of her routine.
Doesn't quite stay on. A little bit of trouble in her height, his stiff back handspring layout, and you can see the shoulders just don't quite get squared up.
9.2 for Janine Rankin. And it's still wide open.
On the beam, Larissa Loeing.
Larissa Loeing knows that she now has a chance because of the falls to perhaps sneak in a gold medal.
Well, Larissa's a tough competitor, and I think she might go for it. She starts the routine also with the one hand. Very nice. Good strength. Well, she's off to a good start. Looks like split leap. Coming up with her acrobatic series. Back handspring 2-foot back tack. She stayed on. She's pretty aggressive. I like the way she moves on the beam. She seems very confident. Front roll to a 2 steg jump.